everybody, and welcome to The Courageous Chick. I'm Shakia Mayer, and in this video we are going to talk about vibes. How are you vibing? I wanted to hop on and talk about your vibe, your vibration. So if you want to attract or manifest more positive emotions, you want to feel more grounded or be more grounded, you want to be calmer, you want to manifest your soulmate, you want to manifest your perfect body, whatever that is for you, you want to manifest a prosperous business, you want to manifest better pay if you are working at a job. That all has to do with vibrations. You want to make sure you know about vibrations, where or how you vibrate. And when I say where, I'm talking about on a scale, whether your vibration is low or high, determines the frequency that you're on. So let's say you're vibrating at level blue. This is just an example. I'm going to use colors. If you're vibrating at level blue, your frequency might be set to 97.1. But if you're vibrating at level purple, your frequency is set to 105.1. Now, for everybody that's not in the tri-state area, those are radio stations, Hot 97 and 105.1. So depending on where you vibrate, that'll determine the frequency you're on. So if you want to manifest a successful business, but you are vibing low, your vibrations are low, you're gonna be at a low frequency, right? And that means the things that you manifest, they're going to match up with the frequency you're on. So you can't manifest high vibe things at a low frequency. In order for you to manifest those high vibe material things or emotions or relationships, those healthy relationships, those twin flame relationships, those soulmate relationships, abundant businesses, healthier emotions, in order for you to manifest those high vibe things, your frequency needs to be at that same level. So if your frequency is at a lower level, so remember, let's take if you are vibing at level blue and your frequency is at 97.1, if you want to get to 105.1, you have to change your frequency. And when you change your frequency, that's going to allow you to have a higher vibration. Well, if you change it so that you are vibing high, because you can also change your frequency and you can continue to just have a lower and lower and lower frequency. And so examples of, because I want to give some real life examples of a low frequency. If you notice that you are experiencing a lot of anger all the time, or you question your decision making, you question your self-care routine, or you don't even really have a self-care, you don't feel all that grounded, something's always going on, and there's this internal crisis all the time. 9 times out of 10, it's because you are not at a high vibration. So your frequency is very low. Now remember, this is a no judgment zone. So if your frequency is low, that's okay. The first step is to identify where you're vibing so that you can change it and vibrate higher. Why do we want to vibrate higher? Again, we want to have higher vibrations because of the lives that we want to live, right? We are courageous chicks. We are go-getters. We are leaders. We are community organizers. We are influencers. And for this reason, we want to make sure that we are attracting what it is that's going to continue to not only move us forward, but move our mission forward as well. And the higher you vibrate, the more aligned you are with your purpose. So everybody's always talking about, how do I find my purpose? I don't know my purpose. Oh my God, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? I don't know what I'm passionate about. Well, if you start to tune into yourself a little bit more and you practice on vibrating at a higher level and you match your frequency, right? So your vibration and your frequency, they match one another. Guess what? You will know what your purpose is. You're going to know what you're passionate about because you're going to be in alignment. Right? So it sounds so simple, but it is something that people definitely struggle with. And so we want to make sure that we stay, that we pay attention to it. I'm just sharing this out. We want to make sure that we pay attention to it so that we can manifest and get the things that we want out of our lives, right? We want to live a life, you want to live a life that you want to live. And I said this in my video yesterday that you are a co-creator. And you're not just a co-creator, some ordinary co-creator, but you are a powerful co-creator. And because you are a powerful co-creator, you have the ability to change your vibration, to raise your vibration, and boldly manifest everything you want. So at this point, you might be saying, okay, Shakia, that sounds good, but how do I do that? How do I manifest? It's taking me forever to share this. How do I manifest what it is I want? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to give you a few things you can do so that you can manifest what you want. Because remember, as we manifest and as we raise our vibration, that means we are also actively changing the frequency. Just as an example, I want to go back to using the radio stations as an example. If you were on 97.1, you're not going to hear about, or you're not going to be listening at the same time to 105.1. Those are two completely different stations, right? And so in order for you to listen to one or the other, you have to dial in. You have to turn your radio stations to either 97.1 or 105.1. That's the same thing with your energy. That's the same thing with your frequency and with your vibrations. You have to tune into the frequency where you want to be. So again, and I know it sounds repetitive, but I believe repetition is key, occupational hazard. And so I just really want you to hear what it is I'm saying and be able to apply it to your life. So if you've noticed that you've been struggling with manifesting, it could be because you're not vibing. You're not vibing high, so to speak, and you are at a different frequency. So you have to tune in now to that same frequency so that you can attract what it is you want. That's how manifesting works, okay? So here are some of the things you can do to help you to raise your vibration. The first thing you can do is eat high vibe foods. So I'm not telling you to completely change your diet or only eat, one way. I'm not telling you to go vegan. I understand that everybody they have different dietary restrictions and concerns. What I will suggest is that you start to implement some of these high vibe foods and decrease the low vibe foods as much as you can, while still getting all of the nutrients that you need to get for your body and for your lifestyle. So I want you to remember that everything we consume vibrates. Everything we consume vibrates, and also everything vibrates. So we're vibrating, rocks are vibrating, trees are vibrating, the chair I'm sitting in is vibrating, the computer you are watching this on, or the device you are watching this on is vibrating. Everything vibrates, including the food that we consume. So if you consume a lot of dead energy, you're going to be vibrating at a lower level, because that's dead energy, right? It's a lower vibration. And so you want to make sure that you eat foods that are going to raise your vibration. So what are some examples of dead energy or low vibe foods? A lot of meat, a lot of fried foods, and a lot of processed foods. So again, I can't tell you what to eat. I can only share with you information, and whatever resonates with you, that's what you can implement in your life. And if none of it resonates with you, that's okay too. But I just want to make sure that you have the information. So as I said before, you want to consume different foods that are going to raise your vibration. Things like fruits, which is different from meat, right? It's not that dead energy, because the animal was once alive, but we don't need to go there. And just, you know, full transparency, at this point in my life, I'm not fully vegan, but I have reduced the amount of meat and processed foods that I consume for multiple reasons, just as I'm working on a lifestyle change. And I want to, and I am being more conscious of what I do consume. So I don't really eat a lot of processed foods the way I used to. If this were a year ago, my eating habits shifted a bit and I had to like reset, and then I had to reset again, but that's okay, because that's a part of the journey. And so while I still eat meat, and while I still eat like eggs, you know, I am not eating as much of it as I used to. So again, you know, do what you can do. And the second thing that you can do to raise your vibration is to be mindful of your alcohol consumption. I said this to one of my friends, and I was like, girl, you drinking wine all the time. Every time I talk to you, you drinking a glass of wine. I said, I wonder what it would feel like if you took a week off from drinking your wine. And she was like, I'm not doing that. And listen, everybody has their own vice, right? So again, no shade, no judgment. However, if you want to work on raising your vibration, then you do want to be mindful of your alcohol consumption, because alcohol is a depressant. So when you drink alcohol, especially if it's not a social interaction, but you're drinking alone, you feel it more, in my opinion. And so you might feel a little more sluggish. You're not as clear in terms of your thinking. And alcohol can also impact your spiritual connectedness. So if you are experiencing your own spiritual journey, then you might want to, you know, again, be mindful of the amount of alcohol and other toxins or substances that you consume, because that can definitely impact how and where you vibe, or how you vibrate, whether you're vibrating low or high. Okay, so let's see, another, or the third thing that you can do to increase your, or raise your vibration, is to be mindful of what you watch and listen to. So be mindful of the shows you're watching on TV, the videos you're watching on social media or YouTube. Be mindful of what you're listening to, whether it's on the radio or the music you're listening to. Again, we have to be mindful of all of the things we consume, not just alcohol or beverages, not just foods, but even, you know, our entertainment. We want to be mindful of what it is that we are consuming, because that can impact our vibration. If you are watching a movie or a show and it's filled with a lot of negativity and a lot of just, I won't even be as descriptive, but it's filled with a lot of negativity, and you might start to feel more anxious or stressed out as you're watching the show. Maybe don't consume that type of entertainment all the time, right? You want to be able to mix it up a little bit. Or for some people, they just stop watching certain things altogether. For me, there are some things that I don't watch anymore. There are certain types of songs that I don't listen to anymore. Now listen, I'm going to be transparent. At the same time, while I am very mindful of what I watch and listen to, there are some trap songs that I still enjoy, okay? So even though it might be a lower vibration, depending on what it is they're talking about, every once in a while, listen. You just connect to it. But nonetheless, we want to be mindful of what it is that we are consuming, especially on a daily basis. So change it up a little bit. I'm not saying that you have to only be one way, or only listen to one type of thing, or watch one type of show. Just be mindful of how much of these of the media that you're taking in. Even watching the news, I've been talking to a lot of people recently, and because of just everything, not just the racial issues that are going on, that's been going on forever, right? But everything. And I tell people all the time, be mindful of how much of the news you are consuming. It is one of the most depressing things you can watch. And I get it. You are watching it because you want to be informed. You want to know what's going on in your town. You want to know what's going on with your community, with your people, whatever, what have you, right? And so you watch it because you want to stay connected. It helps you to stay connected. But there are different ways we can, at this point in 2020, that we can consume or that we can get our news. And I would recommend getting your news in small pieces. So if you notice that you keep getting alerts from different news sites, maybe turn off your notifications. It can be very anxiety provoking and it can impact your vibration, because now your thoughts go from maybe something that's a little more positive to worrying about all of the issues. And I'm not saying not to be concerned or not to care. I definitely want us to care about what's going on, but we also have to remember to protect our well-being. And one way to protect our well-being and to raise your vibration is to be mindful of how much negative news you are taking in. How much negative news are you consuming? So I can talk about this one all day, but I will not do that to you all. Also, actually, before I move on from what you're consuming, social media. Social media is another one. I hear from so many clients scrolling up and down social media, the emotions that they start to experience. Envy, jealousy, anger. They start to get upset and they start to compare themselves. Well, why does she have this and I don't have this? Well, how come she's in a happy relationship and I'm not? Well, da 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 da, and continue to compare themselves to the people that they are friends with on these platforms. And then also they keep seeing these news stories that are negative and depressing. So limit your social media. Be mindful of what you're taking in. Give yourself a break, a digital break, and maybe a media break, you know, from time to time, so that you change up what it is that you're consuming and you allow yourself to vibrate a little higher. Again, we have goals and we have a mission, and in order to do that, you have to be in alignment, and in order to do that, your frequency and your vibrations need to be in alignment with one another so that you can have the life that you want. So these are recommendations. These are some things that you can do. And another thing that you can do to help you to raise your vibration is to take a look at your environment. What is going on in your environment? Is it junky? Is it mess everywhere? Is it just cluttered? Oftentimes our environment will reflect what's going on with us internally. So even if you are doing okay in other areas, there might be a different area of your life where you're struggling a little bit, and that can often be reflected in your environment. Also, your mental clarity, how clear you are and the decisive decisions you're able to make. If there's a lot going on, a lot of chatter, a lot of noise up here, I can often tell what's going on if I ask you about how you're living. So clean up, declutter your environment, and not just declutter your environment, put things around you. Hang up paintings and sayings and words that inspire you, that motivate you, things that you actually want to look at. You can also use different colors that are more calming, colors that attract certain emotions, so from purples to yellows and different shades of blue, or like a turquoise. Get creative. Use different colors to help brighten up your environment, and that can impact your mood, which again can impact how you vibrate. It can impact whether or not you are vibrating low or high. It can help you to raise your vibration. So you want to definitely take a look at your environment, clean it up, put inspiring things all around you, and look into maybe having an accent wall of some sort. Have a little fun with it, right? This stuff doesn't have to be boring. You get to determine how you want to go about it and how you want your journey to go, how you want to raise your vibration. So have some fun with it. And the last item I'm going to share with you all tonight for raising your vibration has to do with forgiveness. Now, when I say forgiveness, people automatically think I'm talking about forgiving somebody else. I'm not necessarily talking about forgiving other people, which you can absolutely do if you feel called to, if you are ready to. I don't believe in forcing anybody. You must forgive you must forgive other people in order to move on. I'm not necessarily saying that, and I have my own thoughts and opinions, and we can go deeper another time. When I talk about forgiveness tonight, I'm referring to forgiving yourself, self-forgiveness. There are some things that probably happen in your life. There are some instances that have happened, some experiences that have been a part of your life, and as a result, you might blame yourself. How something happened, why something happened. You might blame yourself and say you were the cause, whatever it is for you. When you walk around blaming yourself, you often feel guilt and shame. And if you're walking around and you feel guilt and shame, that is going to lower your vibration, because those emotions are not the most high vibe emotions. If you walk around and you feel guilt and shame, you might not take the best care of yourself. You might not be practicing self-care. You might not be practicing positive boundaries. You might not be respecting yourself. You might not be in a healthy relationship. You might not be making the amount of money that you want to make. All of this is connected. And I mean, I can literally go deeper in terms of how you see yourself, how you feel about yourself, how you view yourself, and your current situation, all connected. So if you notice that you haven't had a raise in the last 3 years, it might be because you don't feel you're deserving of a raise, or you're not worthy enough to ask for more money, or just so many things. You might be in a relationship that you don't want to be in anymore because you don't feel deserving enough to be in a healthy relationship. And so it goes deep, y'all. It goes deep. But I'm not gonna go into all of that right now, because this video will be very long, and I don't want to do that to you all. But nonetheless, I want you to practice forgiving yourself so that you can release those emotions of shame and guilt. And I want you to notice that as you practice some of these things that I've talked about, eating high vibe foods, being mindful of your alcohol consumption and other substances, being mindful of what you watch and what you listen to, taking a look at your environment and making sure your environment reflects how you feel on the inside. And it can also help to change how you feel. Your environment definitely plays a huge part in your well-being, which I feel like people minimize. But life is transactional. We can impact our environment can impact us. So I definitely don't want you to minimize it. But you can, as I was saying, once you start to take a look at your environment, have your environment reflect what it is that you want, what it is that you attract. As you start to practice forgiveness, you will notice that you do feel clearer, that you are able to make better decisions, that you have more self-awareness, okay? And that you are in alignment. It helps you to get in alignment with what it is you say you want. Now, there are so many other things I can talk about to help you raise your vibration, but I will save some of that for another video. What I can say is, if anything in this video resonated with you and you're like, you know what, Shakia, I've noticed that I've had trouble manifesting an abundant business. I've noticed I've had trouble manifesting better eating habits. I've noticed that I've had trouble manifesting losing weight. I've had trouble attracting healthy partners. I've had trouble attracting higher wages, higher pay. If you notice your manifestation is stagnant, it's a little stuck, it got a little stale, it's kind of old, then I definitely invite you to a coaching call with me, because we can go deeper, more so than what we can do on a Facebook Live. We can go deeper into your specific situation so that you do have more clarity, so that you aren't as anxious, so that you do feel more grounded. And again, as you start to work on these things and in these different areas of your life, you do become more aligned, and you make that mental shift, you make that mindset shift, and you start to become not just a powerful manifester, but a powerful, as I said earlier, co-creator. So again, if anything in this video resonates with you, I definitely I'm inviting you to a coaching call with me, and we can go deeper into the conversation that we're having tonight, and we can talk about other things you can do to vibrate higher so that you can start to attract and manifest what you want like that. I was telling somebody recently, like, I'm a master manifester, be it positive or negative. I will manifest some stuff. And I've learned some things along the way on how to manifest what it is you want. So trust me, you are in good hands. These were just some quick tips that I wanted to give you so that you can raise your vibration. You can work on raising your vibration. And like I said, if you want to go a little deeper and you want to learn about more ways you can raise your vibration, then definitely reach out to me so that we can get on a coaching call and we can make this happen. Thank you everybody who is watching, whether you're watching live or on the replay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for hanging out with me. And I will see you all real soon. As always, have a courageous day.